But Paul, I'd just like to kind of hand over the mic to you a little bit to just explain what's going on in the Netherlands at the moment. The KSA just released the 10 first licensees. However, some of the bigger names are missing from this list. So it would be interesting to hear your thoughts in general, what you make of this news, and just in general what your opinion is on the Netherlands at the moment.
Right. So thanks for the opportunity to tell you a little bit about what happened in the Netherlands let's say the last 3 weeks. For those of you who have missed the news, the Netherlands market, the Netherlands online gambling market, is due to open on the 1st of October. So tomorrow the market will officially open. And the KSA has yesterday informed the applicants that have been successful. Out of the 29 applicants that put in their application in the period 1st of April, 15th of April, 10 were told that they were successful and that they can start their online operations as of tomorrow. The Dutch state-owned lottery, NLO, which is the Nederlandse Loterij, and Holland Casino are two of the 10 successful applicants. Two other successful applicants are NOGA members, Bet365 and Tombola were granted the license. And then there are some other smaller and quite unexpected successful applicants that made it through in the first batch. But this is not the biggest news, I would say, from the Netherlands. The Netherlands we basically had a very unexpected turn Monday last week, because the minister responsible for gambling sent a letter to Parliament basically saying, I had a change of mind. Per the 1st of October, we will no longer allow passive offers of unlicensed operators. I instruct the KSA to clamp down, the KSA is the regulator, to clamp down on all illegal offerings, whether it is passive or active availability. And I instruct the KSA to go after the biggest operators in terms of Dutch consumers on their platform with priority. So this is a policy change, a 180-degree policy change, which came as a bombshell. We were not consulted. We have not been informed prior to this letter being sent by the minister to Parliament. And the KSA was well aware that this was about to happen, because 1.5 days after this letter by the minister, the KSA issued new policy rules with a new prioritization criterion, which is the one that you can enjoy, let's say, the focus of attention of the regulator if you have a lot of Dutch consumers without a license. The reasoning for this is that the minister thinks that now there is a legal offer per the 1st of October. Dutch consumers can play with a regulated offer. So they no longer need to go to the gray operators or the passively available operators. And with the regulated offer, the consumers are protected enough and they have choice. And this, of course, flies completely in the face of consumer protection, because we have figures that indicate that Dutch consumers which play online at the moment with, some of my members that do not have a license yet, those customers will, as a result of the letter of the minister, be facing a closed shop. So some operators have already indicated that Dutch consumers are no longer welcome. I saw a statement of Leo Vegas that they have moved out of the Dutch market as of yesterday evening. And if this is happening with, let's say, all the good faith operators that are members with NOGA, then these consumers that played with my members will have to go elsewhere from the 1st of October. And our fear is that consumers will massively go for the most attractive offer. And usually the most attractive offer is not the safest offer, to put it mildly. We are convinced that swaths of Dutch consumers will go to websites that are run from Curacao, Russian Federation, Ukraine, Cyprus, and all operators that do not have any interest in applying for a license in the Netherlands. So this goes against consumer protection, and as far as we are concerned, this market opening has failed before it has really begun. And we are trying to salvage what can be salvaged. We're trying to get into a conversation with the minister to see whether he is willing to reconsider this daft move. I can't call it anything else, because certainly this is not in the interest of Dutch consumers.
Right. Thank you for that, Peter Paul. And we can see here now, for example, that Kindred. I mentioned before that Kindred is down about 15%, but that's actually not true, because this morning the share price has fallen another 8%.
Wow.
Kindred is now down 21% in the last week trading because of the news here coming out from the Netherlands. So you mentioned here that Leo Vegas, they have obviously stopped offering games to Dutch players, and it seems that Kindred is now following suit, I would imagine, with the drop in share price here and Betsson. Like, what's your expectations here now, Peter Paul? Do you think from the operators' point of view, the major operators, when do you expect them to be able to go live in the Dutch market again? The likes of Leo Vegas, Betsson, Kindred.
Already, there's one thing that I have to say first. That in terms of consumer protection and the rules that the operators that receive a license have to abide by, I think we have one of the best regulatory systems in Europe. It's very strict. Consumer really comes first. But having said that, what happened now, already with a cooling off period, which was a very strange thing. I don't think that there's any market in the world where, the market opens and a group of operators has to wait. And this is very much to the benefit of the incumbent operators, which are Holland Casino and the Dutch State Lottery. They are given, a head start, basically. But to add insult to injury, with the cooling off period, in which some of my members have to wait before they can apply for a license, they are now also forced to close their shops, which is you cannot explain it from a consumer protection point of view. It's a huge gamble that the minister is taking here, and his full title is the Minister of Legal Protection. So what happens to the protection of those consumers that are, left out in the cold now, that will be, will be faced with a closed shop? They will go for, the big bonuses. They will go for the golden mountains and the biggest jackpots, and they end up with criminal operators.
Yeah, and I noticed as well that the KSA mentioned there as well that there will be a 4% penalty fee for unlicensed operators. 4% on the yearly turnover. Can you explain that as well? How is the KSA or the Dutch able to send penalties to unlicensed?
Well, that's the whole thing. So far they have been quite unsuccessful when it comes to, let's say, stopping the clearly illegal pitch black pirate operators, as I call them, that operate from Curacao, which is within the Kingdom of the Netherlands, but somehow we're not able to clamp down on the illegal operators that operate from there. But the KSA has been very unsuccessful in stopping those operators, and they think that by increasing the penalty fee and the order under penalty, and by policing the new rules more strictly, that they can stop this illegal offer, which I think is just. I think it's hope more than anything else, but I wouldn't count on it based on results in the past. And they seem to completely forget that the members of NOGA are partners of Dutch government, and we play a vital role in channeling consumers towards the regulated offer in the end. And right now they are driving huge numbers of Dutch consumers off a cliff, basically, into hands of criminals.
All right, thanks for that, Peter. I don't want to steal the panel too much. If anyone else has any questions as well, feel free to take over the mic here as well. I'm going to ask one question in the meantime, which is as well. So the KSI, they granted the 10 licenses yesterday. Do you expect that there will be kind of a second wave of licenses that will be granted out of these 29 in the near term, or?
Yeah.
If so, why?
That is my expectation. So some of the applicants of the 29 have retracted their application because they found out that they haven't cooled off yet. So they very, very quickly retracted their application. Then there are some applicants that have to repair mistakes in their application, or have to supplement their application. And I expect, a number between, let's say, 5 and 10 operators to come through in the next 1 or 2 months. But apart from that, there are going to be new applicants applying for a license in the period of October 1st to, let's say, April 1st, 2022, of which my members are amongst them as well. So I expect there to be, coming through some more applicants that will be successful in the end.
Great, and just to be specific, the likes of Kindred, Leo Vegas, Betsson, for example, the major Scandinavian-facing listed companies, do they belong, do you think, to the licenses that will be granted in the next 1-2 months, or is there any clarity on if they will have to wait for a much longer time?
No, it's hard for me to say because I always urge everyone not to tell me any competitive information, because that makes my life a lot easier if I just don't know these things. But from reports that are out there in the press, you can kind of make assumptions that are pretty well informed, and I think that all my members remain committed to the Dutch market. They will apply for a license, and they will all fit in the time frame that I just said about, from the 1st of October till the 1st of April next year. Some of them have to cool off until spring next year, and then put in their application. But I do expect them to be on the market by the fall of next year, ultimately. But this, they will be on the market per the fall of next year. So this will be a blackout of a whole year. So the effects on channelization will be very, very detrimental, I fear.